funny.
Hey, it's Dashia D.
And it's JStan.
Welcome back to In Retrospect Podcast, where we look beyond the surface to find understanding.
Bring you laughs, knowledge, and culture.
So sit back, relax, and join the convo. So how are y'all doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's like you said, it's Friday Eve, so just looking forward to the weekend. How y'all doing?
Oh man. You know, life is a beautiful thing. You know, it has its ups and downs, its ebbs and flows. But nonetheless, I'm doing well. That's what I can say.
Amen.
So we have a guest here that you guys have seen before, but we still want her to introduce herself before we jump right into this conversation.
Hey y'all, I'm Aveus. How y'all doing? So I am a teacher. I teach in Charleston. I am also the founder of IAS Girls Club, which is a mentor program for girls in middle and high school. So I have that, under my belt. I also sew. I'm coming out with some things soon. So you're going to start selling some merchandise. So yeah, follow me, Aveus CJ Instagram, Aveus Sewing. So yeah.
Okay. Nice. So we'll definitely include that in the description box if you didn't catch it, so you can go follow her and support her. So
yeah, big things popping for her. Big things popping.
Hopefully,
little things stopping.
So you guys have heard of this segment called Let's Unpack This, where we take a deeper look into either letters that you send us or the foolishness that is happening in this world. The first major news that broke, actually, before we even jump into that, I do want to say rest in peace to Takeoff before we jump into the mess of it all.
Yeah, that'd be best. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. We about to go with that first. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, the situation that took place with Takeoff, he was out with some of his peoples at a bowling alley in Houston. Unfortunately, calmer heads did not prevail. Argument broke out, and needless to say, senseless violence occurred. Life was lost. It's just all could have been prevented. It's all preventable. It's just really unfortunate, first and foremost. And it's just like, it gets so tiring. You wake up and you just see this every day. And it's just, when does it end? I just don't know.
Yeah, I saw Designer, the rapper. If you don't know who that is, he's the one that sings Panda, because that's the only song I know by him. But he went on live and he was expressing how he felt, and he just broke down. He started crying and he was just like, listen, if this is what it means to be a rapper, I don't even want to rap anymore. Same with Boosie. Boosie went live as well and got teary-eyed and was saying, like, listen, I'll be an entrepreneur. I don't want to be a rapper because people see what you have and they get jealous and they take your life away. But in this case, I don't know that it was that.
Well, the issue is that what it really came down to, in my honest opinion, with this situation was, from everything that's being said, he was minding his business and he just got caught up in everything by a stray bullet. I'm not going to sit here and point everything towards whomever, because I don't know the gravity of everything that occurred. But it just seems to me like all this could have been prevented. So why is there so much senseless violence going on? Not with just that situation, but just in general. Like, why does everyone feel the need to shoot before even trying to resolve a situation? Folks don't want to walk away. Folks want to shoot, argue, and stick their chests out, whether it be male or female, because everybody does it.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it, Dashia. We're gonna do it. Let's do it.
Before I say anything else, what do you think about this?
No, I completely agree. I think it's very senseless. It could be avoided. I mean, I think it also, like you said, it has a lot to do with jealousy, people wanting what you have. I feel like a lot of people nowadays feel like they have something to prove too. Because it's just like, just take a breath, stop, think before you act. Like, what are you trying to prove? What is this gonna solve? So I completely agree. I'm still trying to catch up on the whole story.
Yeah.
It's so hard to like read about and watch stuff like that because like I'm the type of person I feel like everything, so it kind of it's heavy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It's very sad situation.
I'm not going to go as far as I can go with this because that'll be a completely different episode. But one thing I will say, and I'll repeat what I said in the last episode, Black men, I need y'all to seriously work on your emotional intelligence. I had a debate with a man who is our age on this topic, and I said, this is an example of toxic masculinity. And
Yeah.
the first thing, hold on. And the first thing he said was toxic femininity. And I said, well, toxic femininity didn't kill Takeoff, did it?
Mm.
A lot of men, doesn't matter race, a lot of men are emotionally inept. And that's just what it is. We can say society has caused you guys to be hardened shells, which is true. But at some point, we need
That's
to
all
change.
I want. You ain't got to say no more.
Yeah, no. At some point, we need to change the narrative because I'm tired of seeing us die over senselessness. Like it makes zero sense. So that's all I'm gonna say about that because it could go a lot deeper. Again, thoughts go out to his family, his fans, anybody that's been impacted by what took place. And he was really young. He's only 28.
Yeah. Be careful, like seriously though. Everybody out there be safe, especially when you're going into these situations. You see people get to arguing, remove yourself from those areas
Yeah.
because from what everybody is saying and all the news reports are reporting is that it was a stray bullet that got him. So please, everyone out there, please be safe. Anytime you hear any commotion or anything going on, any place you're at. So just be aware.
So in moving on to other news that of actually unpacking, I'm gonna show y'all this quick little video here. Okay.
You bitch! You punched me in my mouth. What are you talking about? Punch me in my eye. You're a bitch. So what? If I want to get away from you, let me get away from you. Don't pull me away. Don't pull me closer so you can hit me in my mouth. You sound dumb. You should have let me jump out. No, you want some weirdo shit. You bust my lip. Little card. Weird ass nigga. You trying to make up a lie. I didn't do this to myself. How did I do this to myself?
We all have continued to be subjected to Blueface and Krishan Rock's back and forth. The reason why I wanted to talk about it this particular time, though, is because I found out that Zeus has a new show coming out with the two of them, and it's called Crazy in Love. For those of you who don't know, October just passed, but October is not only Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I think it's irresponsible of Zeus to exploit a very abusive relationship. They already put it enough out there for us to see, but y'all don't need to then pay them and have a show documenting it. I think, I don't know. It's very nasty to me, but what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's pretty sick. I mean, they're literally like encouraging that behavior, and the fact that they're going to now be getting paid to behave in that way,
right?
It only encourages it. And it's just really sad for, I always just think about young people who are exposed to social media, hearing all of this, reading whatever, and it only encourages them. It makes them, think this is okay. I don't know. I feel like that's a really bad idea. And it's only encouraging her to stay in the relationship.
You said it's encouraging her to stay in the relationship?
Yeah, I mean, if she's gonna be getting paid for it, she probably like, well, I'll thug it out, like that's crazy.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, I do believe she had some like some interesting comments when she was like, "Yeah, me and Blue gonna make money together, or something or another." And I guess that means by any means necessary at this point because there have been so many people trying to reach out. Just like for that situation in particular that we just saw, the insight into that. All that went down, and then I want to say less than 6 hours later, she was like, "I was just kidding. It wasn't. That wasn't really how it went down." And a couple other things, and it was just like, "What?" So it's really I don't know, it's really disturbing because it's just like it's just a reoccurring thing that's going on right now, and
Yeah.
now, like you said, with this show, it's not going to stop it because now you have money that's involved, and it's like, oh, we're not about to miss out on this money because the thing that's going to be thrown around is like you might as well suck it up. It ain't going to last that long, and then that just only makes it worse. It's not going to get any better. The
And
situation is not getting any better.
and let's just tiptoe back to what I just said, right? About the toxic masculinity. So in that video, supposedly they got into it because he went through her phone and saw that she was texting another guy. We all know she knows how many women this man sleeps with on a consistent basis. She's texting one guy, and now she has a bloody nose, a black eye, and a busted lip.
Over a text.
Right.
I don't think first off, I'll say this. He's not right for what he did. That's wrong. I completely agree. Now there has been situations where she has assaulted him as well. So this has
Yeah.
been going back and forth, and it's just not good for either one of them. And neither one of them are going to leave because, like you stated earlier, they're getting money now to do a show, which is getting out of hand. Because at one point, I remember there was a video earlier, a couple months back or whatnot, where she took his phone and he kicked down the bathroom door, and then they laughed about it literally
And
like
snatched her
within
hair out.
and laughed about it within the hour. I'm like, yo, like it's not safe. Within the hour, y'all good?
But
What?
also keep in mind that statistically speaking, on average, it takes the victim 7 tries before they actually leave their abuser. I don't know that Krishan has left yet, right? She maybe had left once.
Right. I don't
Did
think
she?
Like for a couple
Did she
hours.
leave?
I think
Did
for
she
a couple
leave?
hours she left. So, you know, it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle, and only that person can determine when they've had enough. My hope for the both of them is that they make it out alive, and I'm not even being dramatic because the way that they hit each
Yeah,
other
they're on a whole
and
nother
destroy
level.
that house,
Yeah.
it's not looking good.
Yeah, it blows me too because you got to think about it. This is the stuff we see. The stuff that they do in public is just as bad. So just imagine the stuff that goes on behind closed
That's my
doors.
point.
That's next. It's probably next level behind closed doors.
I don't want to see a documentary about them 10 years from now.
I'm like, has their family or like friends?
Yeah, they tried.
Yeah.
Well, her family has tried, and they've been basically
both families.
Yeah, he knocked her dad out.
She fought his mama and his sister, and he fought her daddy.
He knocked her daddy out
on film, on the TV show that's coming out.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's that. And she just recently got another tattoo of him.
Oh
So,
yeah, I saw that as well. And that's not
Yes.
love, people. That's obsession.
Yeah, definitely not.
Woo,
I don't know.
so, speaking of, you know, with the takeoff situation that happened, I found out because someone had texted my group chat, and then I went to Twitter and saw his body, which I didn't want to see that. That was the first thing that came up. And then even with this Krishan situation, as soon as they have a fight, they're posting it with all of their wounds. Do you feel like Gen Z, which is this generation right now, have become like desensitized or like lack empathy because they are exposed to so much on social media?
Definitely. I definitely believe that. I mean, if you think about everything that they've been exposed to, I mean, it's so they have easy access to so many different things. And like you just said, you know, anytime someone's killed, you see it on social media. Anytime somebody's fighting, like anything, you can just see it just like that. So like I do believe that it's become a thing. Oh, it's just normal, or you know, just it's everyday life. Oh, they died. Oh, they died. You know, like people don't look at it as like this is an actual person. Like this is something that's really happening in real life because it's just on social media. It's not, I guess, directly. I feel like that's just how people look at it. It's like, oh, okay, another day. You know, unless it's happening to you. It's really sad. I think this generation definitely lacks empathy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just no care.
Yeah, I would say it's just Gen Z, but I've been places and I've seen people my age and older basically just become the word I look for best is just corrupted by everything that's going on within social media. Reason being is like when someone or something happens, the first thing everybody's quick to do is to pull out their phone. Why ain't nobody calling for help?
Yeah.
Call for help. Don't record me or take a picture of me and I'm in the worst possible condition imaginable. Call for help. Like honestly, that whole situation was just so disgusting to me personally because I'm just like, why would you post something like that online, picture or video? That person has family members, you know what I'm saying? A mother, he's a cousin to somebody, an uncle, it's a lot. It was just really disturbing. And then people were like retweeting it, and that's why I popped up on my Twitter timeline. I was like, what in the world? And I'm just like, yo, this is insane. Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, that's just the wildest thing to me. It's like so much negativity is promoted on social media because people always say there's pros and cons to social media, and that is one of the like most negative things to be like. I just don't understand how people can do things like that. But to answer the question, yeah, people have become desensitized. I'm sorry, I had to get that off my chest. That just that bothers
No,
me.
it's fine.
But nah, like people have become desensitized. This generation in particular, because it's like when we were growing up, we see the news and it'd be like, oh, so and so, something happened to somebody, they got shot, or something occurred, but they wouldn't post no body
Right.
on the TV with a person bleeding out for you to see, or a video. You would just see a picture of them and that's it. But now it's just uncensored. You see everything you want to see. And then what people do, act like it's nothing. They show it, they share it. Look at this. No, I don't want to look at that.
And that's why I specifically said Gen Z. I'm aware that it's not just the young people who are posting things like that. It's everybody. But I feel like they're growing up in this and this becoming the norm of oh, so and so died, oh, I'm gonna watch their death take place. Like
I'll agree with that. I agree with that. It's predominantly them, but like you said, I'm agreeing with you because what happens is with them, they're basically not pushing it on to the people that are around them, but sharing it to like their family members or whomever and stuff like that they're close with in some capacity. And at that point, it doesn't matter what generation they're in, but it starts with them. I understand what you're saying though.
And not only that, oh, go ahead.
And if you think about it, like I feel like this type of behavior, like the fact that they have this like just easy access to stuff like that, and they are desensitized to it. Like just imagine what it's doing to their mind, like their brain, how it's affecting their brain and maybe their actions, like, in the future, like if they feel like this is nothing, oh, they got shot or they're dead. Imagine what that's gonna do to them, like if they end up in certain situations, like, oh, I'm gonna just shoot you, or oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but let's talk about it though. Let's talk about it.
I'm glad you said that because that's
when do they get these phones? When do they get these phones? What age do you see kids with phones nowadays?
Right, but to your point of them thinking this is how I solve it by bringing a gun. I work in schools, and last semester there was a third grader that brought a loaded gun to school. Third grade. Just yesterday, I didn't get home till late because a middle schooler threatened to bomb the school. And when we asked him, "Are you serious?" he said, "Oh yeah, and this is how I plan to do it. These are the materials I plan to use." So it's serious. And it's scary because you don't know what's happening at home, doubled with what are they seeing when they're on TikTok, Twitter, whatever else, Snapchat. And you don't know what's going on in their minds. So, go ahead.
Question for y'all. Now that we're talking about all of this in social media, what do y'all think about what Lakeith said? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do y'all think about that? Like how, I guess he's basically saying how rap music influences the violence and promotes it. I mean, a lot of people I like to read comments, were disagreeing and trying to argue about it. But like, I mean, I don't want, like, I don't know. I'm not against music. Like, I like music, I like rap, but like, what do y'all think?
I'll say my piece first. because they should probably bring it home anyway. I'm not gonna say or act like I don't listen to that shoot 'em up bang bang music, because I do. But you know what I'm saying? You got to be mindful of when you start to feel this music start to change how you're feeling or how your actions start to change. Like, you got to be aware of that, because I believe music, any type of music that you listen to, does affect your mood in some capacity.
Yeah.
Just like smells, like if you smell certain things, your mood will change. So I'm a firm believer that specific music that you listen to, and if you listen to it too much, your mood will be affected. Like, if you sit there and listen to some sad music about what somebody has going on or what they're going through, all of a sudden you're gonna feel like you're going through something. Meanwhile, your whole week, your day has been great, but now you're feeling a little down. You don't know why, but somehow you feel down, and now you contemplating life. Why? Because the music is really effective, but you really don't realize it until all of a sudden you're feeling funny, but you're not catching why. Music is extremely powerful as well.
So I agree with both of y'all, and that's why I'm going to say this. I think that two things can be true at the same time, right? So on one hand, people create music based on experiences. Those experiences, those rappers didn't put themselves in, right? It's laws and certain things that have been in place that put them in those environments to talk about. So that's one part of it. On the other side of it, you have the consumers. We buy the gutter music, right?
You said the what music?
Gutter, hood.
Gutter, what do you mean by gutter? You mean Rico? We call it Rico now because people going to jail for that, but yeah, go ahead.
Right. So these record labels, a lot of times and the CEOs of them are palm-colored folks, right? They may be influencing those rappers to talk about those sorts of topics. And you have kids who are in this fantasy land that think, this is the way to solve the issue. This is what I'm going to do. But guess what? You're getting locked up and you don't have the resources to get the type of lawyers that your favorite rapper has.
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't blame hip hop music for the violence that takes place, but I do think it has influence on what is cool. And some kids think that, presenting a certain image is cool, when in reality, it's like, it can cause you to be in some really scary situations. So.
That was great. That was a great way to bring it home. Check you out.
But Justin, you said something about how like music affects your mood and your mind and things like that. And I wanted to go a little deeper, right? Because we talked about the music. We talked about we talked about the social media. These kids have been in a pandemic, adults too, but these kids were at home for 2 years and now
playing NBA YoungBoy. Playing NBA YoungBoy in the house.
Being forced to return to school, and it is killing them. Like I said, I have so many referrals for kids for mental health issues. I have so many referrals for kids who are now homeless because their parents lost their jobs due to the pandemic. I have at least 50 families who are homeless in my school, at least 50. And I'm taking groceries to people 3-5 times a week. So like, with all of these things going on, how do you feel like it's impacting the kids?
This on me?
Or anybody?
It's all you.
I mean, I guess as a teacher, I do see some of that stuff every day firsthand. So again, like, I feel like it's had a very negative impact. A lot of the kids, I believe, lack structure because of it. A lot of resources that they need to survive, I feel like, are limited. Which it affects their hygiene. Like, it's a lot. But overall, I can definitely say, like, in my opinion, it has definitely impacted students in a negative way, from, it being like academic to just, social, emotional needs to, everyday resources. Like, it's just, there's a lack of resources that they need. So it's not good.
Mr. Stanley?
Oh, no, I agree. It definitely has affected the kids because, as much as we want to say that, just because somebody puts on some clean clothes, like, that makes all the difference. Like when we talk about, families losing jobs, people having to make, work hard to make ends meet, try to find that next meal, like that plays a major role. Just imagine how you would feel if you missed 2 meals out the day and you only had
Right.
1 meal. Now, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I like to eat personally, so I already know if I was a child and I couldn't eat no food, I would act a fool.
Yeah.
I would act a whole fool in school. I'm gonna get out my face. You about to give me something to eat? And you know what's crazy too that a lot of folks don't realize? Like when these kids do act out in these situations, they'll just be, oh, that child's bad. But when you ask a child what's wrong and they tell you what's wrong, that those things that are bothering that child would upset you too.
Yeah.
So much.
That's why you need people in the school who aren't as burnt out, because teachers are burnt out. Pretty much every staff member in the building is burnt out. Let's be real. So that's why you need adults in the building who that child can go to and just lay it all out so that they can get some help if need be.
Yeah, but I agree. They should have a person to go to and do that. But it's a lot to ask on, these teachers and folks that do work within the school system, just because, like, we're mentioning that just for one child. But when there's a good sized school that you're at and you're that main person that everybody wants to talk to, that wear and tear on your mental. Listen, and even when you're just a teacher with a class of maybe 15 or better, 10 or better, that's a lot of different personalities that you're trying to corral and figure out what's the best course of action. If everybody coming at you with a different problem, some may have the same problem, but they're not reacting to it or, giving you the feedback or response that you thought you would get when you're trying to problem solve. So it's a lot going on. These kids have definitely been affected. And a lot of kids still don't know how to, what's the best way to say this? Communicate how they feel. So it's really frustrating. So they'll just sit there, start, what I'm saying, growling at you. You're trying to tell y'all, like, what's up?
And here's the thing. You just hit the nail on the head. So Aveus, how big is your class? Like, how many kids you have in your class?
Right now we have 18.
Okay, so you have 18 kids that you're responsible for, right? I have 1,000 students that I am the social worker for, okay? You said kids can't communicate how they feel. Guess where they get it from? That mama, that daddy, and that's who communicate. Well, who attempts to communicate with me, and they think that their child is the only one that I'm responsible for.
You said attempt. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by attempt?
They don't know how to effectively communicate. So I've had parents blow up my office phone, cussing and carrying on, and then they meet me, and I'm right here. Because you have to come down. I'm not going to meet you where you are. You have to come down because we're not but the screen. Okay, ma'am? You don't sign my check. I don't sign yours. Okay? This is my job, and I will have decorum, and so will you. So you will have to meet me down here. Seriously. Yeah. So I think everybody's been impacted, but the main thing is like, we got to give each other some grace. Mm-hmm. Because if not, that's why you got people snapping left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, the snapping is bound to happen. That's what I will say. But if you're going to snap, don't go too crazy. That's all I can say. Be mindful. Don't lose your job over a couple minutes of anger. Just give them a little 10, 15 second burst and then go back in your shell. That's all I got to say.
So we've kind of touched on like what the issues are and what's kind of hurting the kids and us and all of that. What are some like benefits that Gen Z has that past generations, including us, did not?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's easy.
What?
Access to all this information out in the world. Like like think about it. You're plugged into everything daily, all the time. Yes, it's not always a good thing that you're always plugged into everything that's going on. But you got to think about it. Like when most of us were growing up, we just thought about one little area we were in for either school or whatever was going on within the city that you stayed in. Now, you may have some exceptions where kids were always going out of town with their parents or their cousins or going out of town. But for the most part, most people were just subjected to that area that they were living in or going to school in.
Yeah.
And didn't know what was going on outside the city that they were in. But now, if you're just a little curious, like what's going on in the city, on the other side of the, the town on the other side of the city, whatever's going on, or that area, you can do that. That's easy. Or if you want to know what's going on the other side of the world, you can do that. That's easy. And you can actually get credible information. Like, Twitter is a monster. Like, Twitter is a monster. Like, that's insane for people to actually know, like, real time what is going on somewhere else in the world. And you can get pictures and videos of it.
Yeah.
That's insane.
You don't even need to watch the news.
You don't. You don't.
It's right there.
You don't.
No, but I agree. Like, they have much like access. Again, it could be negative and positive, but to so much information. And I always think, like, dang, when I was in middle school, if I had access to all these tutorials or like YouTube University, I could have been doing all kind of stuff. Like, I feel like their mindsets are definitely not like ours were. I see a lot of people are, you know, millennials, they're changing, going more towards like being entrepreneurs and things like that. But like, I feel like growing up, we were more so just focused on, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to do this. They have all this information, access to so many different resources. They're like, there are different options. I feel like we, you know, grew up. I guess speaking from my experience, I was just told,
I agree.
Like, this, you need to do this. This is what this is the goal. But they like, it's so many different things you can be doing. Hell, you can do all of them, not even just one. You know,
all at the same
so
time.
It can be positive. It can.
Also, and I will say real quick as well is that the benefit I feel as if though that this generation has is that the older generation is more willing to mentor now than they used to be, in my honest opinion. Because you had a lot of folks that used to be like the old guard, didn't want to really tell you too much, keep you from that. But like with all this stuff going on, like the access that we hit on earlier, like you have the ability to find somebody that's willing to mentor you in whatever field or whatever you want to learn. Like right now, say for instance, us, if we wanted to get more information on something, we could literally type it in online, find a person and message them and be like, hey, I was curious about this. Do you have time for a conversation? And you can get access to that person, potentially.
It might cost you something, but
now we ain't talking about cost, but yeah.
I agree with the access being positive. I would add this newer generation, we have started to destigmatize therapy, which is fantastic.
Whoa. Can you define that word you just said? No. You can't be just throwing out big words. Break it down, please.
So the root word, right? Let's take it back in time. The root word of destigmatize is stigma, right? And stigma is something that's negative. So what we're starting to do is take away those negative, the negative perspectives. Let's do that. Negative thoughts that are associated with going to therapy. Because honestly, 1 in 5 people have a diagnosable mental health condition. That's a lot of people. 1 in 5 people have a diagnosable mental health challenge, okay? And that could be as simple as anxiety, okay? A mental health challenge doesn't mean everybody's schizophrenic, okay? It can mean social anxiety. It could be seasonal depression. It's whatever it looks like. But I think for these kids, it's becoming a lot more normalized to the point where I can ask a child, like, hey, are you in therapy? They're like, yeah, I see my therapist every Thursday. And it's that simple.
So Dash, you ain't never heard your like parents voice in your head, like to do something? You ain't never heard? Never mind. Don't worry about me.
What do you mean by that?
Like, you know, something, that little voice in your head that tell you need to do something. You ain't never had that before? No? Cool.
I mean, yeah, but I think a lot of times kids need someone else outside of their parents to talk to. Because sometimes our parents can be a bit closed-minded. So sometimes kids need other people to speak to that they can trust. But you know, that's my 2 cents on that. Did y'all have anything else to add to the conversation?
Justin, you got something? But no, like a lot of kids that I see like at work, you know, they talk freely about therapy. Even some of my girls in my girls club, we actually had about this a few weeks ago when we had some speakers come in. They were actual therapists and counselors. It was a really good discussion, and I was amazed because, again, like growing up, therapy just wasn't a thing. Like it wasn't just thrown out there. And as you said, people can be closed-minded. They want you to go to other resources, which is nothing wrong with it. Of course, I'm a pray, whatever, but like you know, it's okay to talk to someone. So I think it's a great thing. I just started recently and it feels good. So
yeah, and I'm in therapy. Listen,
shoot.
it is very normal, okay? And
Yeah.
you don't have to go to therapy just for something major happening in your life. At the end of the day, you can talk to your friends, but your friends are not licensed. If I broke my arm, I'm not calling Justin, okay?
Why not,
Justin,
man? I get the job done now. I get a 2x4 and I'll wrap you up good with some duct tape.
He's not a doctor, okay?
What do you
And
mean?
if I'm going through something very serious, I could chit chat with Justin, but I need somebody that's licensed who have the tools to help me through that issue. Okay.
Don't listen. I'll get the job done.
For all of you guys out there, please give yourself grace. Go to therapy, and if you can't afford therapy, get a journal. If you can't get a journal, meditate.
Get a pen pal. Find a pen pal. It's real. Write your thoughts down. Write your thoughts down. You know, sometimes it's good. You can internalize by writing down. Yeah. I write stuff down.
I do too.
I don't do all. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm old school. I gotta write. I be right.
I do both.
You know, I be right.
I do both. And I do audio journals as well.
Oh, excuse me. You just over there trying to outdo me. I mean, I do audio.
Sometimes
and I do.
You
Okay.
You want to talk it all out.
Go back and listen to your audio sometimes.
Yes, I went back and listened to an audio journal I did back in college, and I was like, "Girl,
what was going on?"
I'm sorry, I mean to laugh. Whoa!
If you only knew how much your life will change, just give it some time. Relax.
Yeah.
Give it some time. I have been. Thank you, Aveus, for joining us for this conversation. It's been really great. Seriously,
right?
Like I feel like we hit on a lot of great points. I hope you all enjoyed this. Comment below. Let us know. Do you think hip hop is causing violence in our community? How do you feel about the Blueface and Krishan saga? And then, how has Gen Z been affected, positive or negative? I have been Dashia D.
And I've been JStan.
Join us every Friday at noon.
And always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Now make sure y'all go watch the whole episodes. And Aveus, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank y'all.